Extending reservation on economic basis to forward castes is against the basic concept of Indian constitution. Extending reservation on economic basis to forward castes is against the basic concept of Indian constitution. Background: these days, many institutes are providing facility to the candidates for mock group discussion or interview. Here we are providing one such example along with the expert opinion. Through their comments, experts here try to dig out the different aspects of one's personality according to one's arguments, conversational skills, body language, etc. In this process, they will make timely comments just for the reader's convenience. By these comments, you will be able to acknowledge the finger points of the group discussion process. The, the group that has come here comprises of six candidates of near about similar age, education, and experience. All of them have assembled here for a managerial post in a multinational company. The time granted for group discussion is 30 minutes. The examiner announces the topic and goes to the background. The group of candidates is now left to proceed with the task. Progress: with the withdrawal of the examiner from the scene, the candidates have become conscious about the next step to be taken. The silence that has so far prevailed in the room has been shattered as a few candidates indulge in whispering and talking asides, while one or two candidates are looking at ease. Others are waiting to their initiative. Slowly and chatter grows and whispering metamorphoses in clear-cut dialogues. The crosstalk becomes more more pronounced and some participants begin to indulge in heated arguments. At this juncture, number 6 raises his voice so that he could be heard by all. Number 3. Well, my friends, may I please request you to give me your kind attention for a moment. As everybody is able to hear him, the crosstalks and subgroup arguments ceases and now there is perfect silence. All eyes are turned towards number 6. However, before number 6 could proceed further, number 3 interrupts and speaks with the aim of showing his eagerness to grab the initiative. Number 3. My dear friend. Number 3. My dear friend, I understand the meaning of your request. Looking at the candidates and number 6 especially with sarcastic gesture. Why are you so worried of our attention? You can say whatever you want. If there is something substantive, everyone will hear you. Number 5 whispers to his neighbor. Here comes the kissa kursi ka. In fact, these days nobody wants to remain a follower or a good companion. Everybody thinks of himself an inborn leader. Number 4. After listening curious to number five's comment addresses number six. Do you do you still want to say something? Number six. Yes, with a confident look in his eyes and a gentle smile on the lips. Gentlemen, as you all know, we have just 30 minutes to complete our group discussion. I am afraid we have already spent more than 2 minutes on our futile conversation and whispering. We cannot lose any more time. Let us therefore get down to the task. Number 3. Number 6. Before you proceed further, I want to ask about your problem. We have already been discussing the subject with our neighbors. Number 6. Smiling. I do agree with you. Most of us are talking to our neighbors, but talking aside and cross talk is not a group discussion. Number 4. Alright friends, enough is enough. We don't need to argue without reason. Instead, let's come direct to the topic. Number 5. I think it will be right to start with number 1. Number 3. My friend addressing number 5. You have you have no authority to decide the course of this group discussion. I suppose that it will be good to start with you. Number 5. It sounds okay to me, but I would prefer to listen first, looking here and there with discomfort. Number 4. No problem. Number 5. Listening is the best quality. You will learn something by this. If all of you have no problem, I wish to be the opening speaker. Number 2. Please proceed. With a dull voice and irritated look on his forehead. Opponent, opponent like number 3. He shows confidence but at last surrenders his will against the opposition shown by number 3. Number 3 is a guy who likes to prevail among all, but in his anxiety to in his anxiety to dominate, he is making an impression of being a domineering person. His unwanted comments make the environment bitter. In fact, he tries to dispose everything proposed by number 6. His qualities make him unsuitable of functioning with a group. If he fails to get over his envious attitude, it is not impossible that he will be rejected outrightly. As far as number 5 is concerned, he appears he appears to be an average candidate but has a sense of humor in his approach. He is granted the opportunity to be the opening speaker, but he is more interested in listening. This creates a first impression of his reluctance about leadership, but still he has the chances. Now we come to number 4, who has till now played his cards very cautiously and accordingly getting the reward. He has made full use of the squabbling between number 6 and number 3 and paves the way to emerge as the leader of the group while other candidates are mere spectator till now. Let us take a look what is going to happen next. Number 4. First of all, I wish to thank all of you for providing me the opportunity to be the opening speaker. The subject deals with the reservation for the forward castes on the economic basis and its relevance to the constitution. First of all, I want to tell you that the principle of equality permeates the constitution of India. All the citizens are entitled to be treated by the state equality irrespective of caste, race, religion, sex, descent, place of birth, and residence. No citizen may be discriminated against the state only on these grounds, but the framers of constitution knew it better that in India there can be many situations where state has to take the affirmative action for the downtrodden. So they made some reservation in favor of women, children, backward classes, scheduled tribes, and the weaker section. In fact, under Article 15.3 and 15.4, there is a special provision of reservation for them. I am also very much convinced about their approach towards reservation, but as our topic advocates for the reservation on economic grounds to forward castes, I feel that it goes against the spirit of Constitution. In fact, Supreme Court categorical, categorically interpreted the expression backward class as the social and educational backwardness. It is also emphatically rejected economic backwardness as the only or primary criterion for reservation under Article 16.4 and observed that economic backwardness has to be on account of social and educational backwardness. As far as I think, the right to equality without the capacity and means to avail of benefits equally is a cruel joke on the deprived sections of the society. The jurisprudence of equality therefore requires that those below the brought up to the same level as to those above. So there is no point in extending reservation to forward castes on economic basis because they are already far above the level. Thank you. Comments. Number 4 has understood the subject in its depth. He has shown initiative and made reasonable use of opportunity thrown to him. First, he describes the need for reservation, then, he comes to provisions in Constitution about reservation, and after it, he secures his position by making comments on society and jurisprudence. He looks somewhat emotional in the end and decides to go against the reservation on economic criterion by rejecting the other side of the picture. But the major lacuna is that he doesn't show a balanced attitude, so he is not a much favored candidate for selection. Number 5. Friends, I don't see a proper understanding for this subject in Mr. Ford. Comments. In fact, the present reservation system is in favor of classes, not individuals. All classes and social groups have economically backward individuals, but on that account alone, a group does not qualify to be called a backward class, since economic criterion, whatever these may be, will run common through all social groups. It will be contrary to the right to equality and therefore to keep the individuals confined to any particular social group goes against it. Our Constitution framers wished to bring the benefit of such provisions not only on those who belong to a particular class, but all the individuals who are suffering from the penury and chronic problems like poverty. In fact, the reservation was provided initially for a short time, but because of the pressure group politics in a democracy compelled them to last to last it so long. When the so-called social leaders of the backward classes are trying to get mileage by exploiting the public sentiments on the burning question, then why should the social leaders for forward classes stop themselves? This is the political rivalry that has created such a confront, confront, confrontationist situation. Confrontationist situation. To rectify the situation, if the individual if the individuals have to be provided with reservation on the economic criterion, then those satisfying the said criterion and belonging any caste and social group respective of any distinction will be entitled to it, including the individuals belonging to the backward classes and SC and ST. By doing so, we will meet our basic requirement, that is to give the benefit of reservation to those who are really in need of it, and because this reservation will fall in the general category and all will be entitled to it. A background A backward person may also choose to apply for a reservation on economic criterion instead of a reservation made for his class. So having reservation on such a basis will be more useful than the class-based reservation. In my point of view, such design will make the situation more balanced and fair for all. Comments. Number 5 has some unique ideas. His understanding of the subject is analytical. It is true that he does not go into the complexities of the Constitution, but he is lacking the quality of reaching a conclusion after analysis. He somewhat appears to be unaware as to where to end and what framework to, provoke, to provide, what framework to provide. But at the same time, he is modern in his approach and he has the willingness to challenge the principles propounded by a bunch of politicians. He is able to produce some considerable ideas but unable to carve out a frame from them. In sum, he has the capacity to challenge the traditions on the sound reasoning basis sound reasoning. So he is under considering for the selection. Number 3. My dear friend, both Mr. 4 and 5 have shown us as to how can there be two poles for a magnet. It is a fact that everything exists between being and non-being. No system can be the perfect. According to me, the best way is Madhyam Pratipada. By acquiring this perception for any problem, we can jump over the hurdles that are coming in the way of humankind. We in our country have many such problems because of a great differences among our citizens on the basis of economic and social factors. The issue of reservation comes out of the box on time to time. It is good that the state has taken affirmative action by enforcing reservation on account of disparities, but at all the same time, we should also concentrate on one important point, that is, are you entitled to make a person rich and resourceful at the cost of others? Development should be homogeneous and be perceived as a whole. So I would like to conclude by saying that by making few adjustments in the given criterion, we can provide reservation to weaker section of the forward classes also. At the same time, maintaining equilibrium between the constitution and present needs. Comments. Number 3. Who was making a lot of noise before the group discussion is now exposed to the other members. He lacks originality and doesn't have a good grasp over the facts. He is trying to make fool of others by making the entire debate philosophical, but due to his lack of knowledge and understanding, he fails. Number 6. Gentlemen, the main point that we are discussing here is about the provision of reservation to forward classes on economic criterion. Before supporting my point, I would like to tell you that the objective of reservation was the creation of more egalitarian society. But I don't think that reservation in this form will be an effective means to achieve this end. If we look at the beneficiaries of present reservation system, we find that only the better among the OBCs, SCs, STs who already had access to good education and above average lifestyle have been making full use of his opportunity. Reservation without economic equality in these classes itself has created a great divide among its own members. Those who are already at the top of their community have concerned the plum jobs and Those at bottom are left further behind. So, whatever in all this, the so somewhere in all this, the constitutional purpose of reservation has got dangerously lost. Indeed, there may be some groups or classes in whose case caste may not relevant at all. For example, agricultural laborers, rickshaw pullers, drivers, street hawkers, etc. may well qualify for being designated as the background class, as the backward class. So the most appropriate step in this direction will be provide reservation for the forward classes on economic basis. Comments. Number 6 reveals good command over the particular topic. His analysis in brief shows that he is not a guy who is going to accept whatever thrown at him without taking a keen into it. He does not harp on the string. He adds a new insights in the discussion with the amalgamation of theory and practical. He maintains his points firmly on sound reasoning. This aspect also shows his personality with a balanced mind. This candidate is most likely to be selected. Number 1. My friends, at the outset, I would like to make my stand clear. I don't agree with the reasons provided in support of reservation for the forward castes on the basis of economic criterion. In fact, I feel that both number 5 and 6 are confused. They are not able to differentiate between the social backwardness and economic backwardness. In fact, social backwardness is a structural disability linked to one's caste and does not vary from generation to generation. Even a rich backward person becomes the victim of this unfair structure, while on the other hand, economic backwardness within the same group or family may vary from time to time. So we cannot weigh these two kinds of backwardness on the same scales. We have heard many stories of sudden economic transformation by lotteries, but it is near impossible to get such lotteries in social structure. Nobody can break the system in a moment. So, by taking account of this point, forward class should never demand for the reservation on the economic criterion, and because of the constitution famous by the means of reservation wanted to break the social disability, not the economic one. There is no need to discourage this basis tendency by introducing the economic criterion. Thank you. Comment. This candidate has grasped the matter correctly and in depth. He presents the difference between the two factors that was not clear till now. He is clear in his mind and likes to hit on the roots instead of going from branch to branch. He has also appeared to be rude, interjecting the views which are wrong in his perception, but later on he also shows restraint in his approach. He is an above average candidate. His selection is definite. Number 2. Gentlemen, a policy is as good as its implementation. I would like to discuss this particular topic on the basics of practicality. Before granting the reservation on economic state, we must first make the premise of this criterion. In fact, there cannot be a perfect criterion to determine the economic backwardness. Basically, economic state of a person is a relative term. You can be a beggar before Sultan of Brunei or be a sultan yourself against the Nagas of Siva cult. The other point is that while government is spending heavily on the poverty eradication through their 5-year plans and different mid-term plans, then where is where is the need of reservation on this basis? Once once again, in a society where corruption is deep rooted, how can you calculate one's real worth by mechanized factors? Also, everybody would try to get himself included in the list of beneficiaries without considering the real motives behind this reservation. So I think there is no point in giving reservation on the basis of economic criterion. Of course, Article 16.4 empowers the state to make job reservation for any backward class citizen who is not adequately represented in the services in that state. But it is also true that forward class is already represented in the services adequately. The twin basis for India's affirmative action is both disadvantage and discrimination. Many people and communities suffer due to the former one. This could be include half of India's population. Then how can we achieve the basic purpose of our constitution, that is to provide reservation to SC/ST who have suffered from the endemic discrimination that has manifested itself over a long period of time in the form of rape, physical and mental abuse, and several other forms of atrocities. So we should remind ourselves that constitution makers had not intended to provide a reservation on the only basis of disadvantage or poor economic state. They provide reservation basically for the discrimination with disadvantage. So we can't provide reservation on economic criterion because that will amount to going against the spirit of the constitution. Thank you. Number 2 adds new dimensions to the discussion and speaks over the economic criterion. His approach suggests his liking to do work in a systematic way by listening to others. He also collects some constitutional data and clearly utilizes them for his advantage. In fact, he shows the glimpse of a trained professional, but he has to wait for his selection till the last list comes out. Conclusion. To conclude, it can be said that reservation in itself can create disparities among equals, but where the ground is not equal, we can provide a new benefits for the have-nots. There is no harm is providing reservation on economic basis, but first we must know without having prejudices which people need it and how can we identify them in an ever changing globalized society. The old assumptions are dying fast and new parameters have been set. So, if we want to be counted among the development societies, if we want to be counted among the developed societies, we should come out with a society where there is no need for reservation. In such a society, everybody will do his her work as per his her capacity and get the reward for the labor. Fragmentation on the ground of social or economic disparity can never lead us to prosperity. Therefore, there is a need to read the old books in new light. Despite the initial disagreements and indis- indiscipline in the beginning, this group has been able to pull through the discussion amicably. Some of the candidates have shown a great depth of knowledge and sensitivity regarding such a burning topic in the present context. More or less, the discussion has brought forth a few very interesting arguments. Thank you and bye bye.